broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 244 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challand, with co-host Zack Carlson. This is your regular dose. I had to change it. Regular dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. We'll just leave it.
Oh, you did change it in the... You changed it in the script. That's so funny. Your somewhat regular dose. Yeah.
So, Zack, how's it going?
Oh, so good. It is. We're, I don't know where we're at in riot season, but I think we're coming to the close on riot season and election season's heating up. So it's crazy for the gun industry.
Riots? What riots? I'm here in free America. I don't know. So good to say that. I mean, all the years of living in Illinois and getting everyone else giving me a hard time. Why don't you move? Why don't you?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because we're an internet-based company, so it ships anywhere there's a riot. So we have the last couple months we have set company records, like 20 plus years in business.
Wow,
we're setting sales records. This is 2016 times a lot. It's not. I mean, 2016 was crazy. This is even crazier.
Wow, holy moly! Yeah, I've seen it's been up, and I guess there's no hope in sight for ammo, is there?
No, I saw Federal had started selling ammo on their website, like cutting out the distributor.
Really?
Isn't that weird? But also, to be fair, 50 rounds of ammo is $18. So like, it's not like exactly cheap, but I mean, it's kind of interesting that the ammo companies are starting to sell direct. I mean, that's,
yeah,
you know, it's just an interesting thing. I don't know what it really means for the industry, but it's circumventing the traditional two-step method, though.
Oh, it makes sense in the online world we're in. If they're shipping stuff out of their warehouse to distributors, why can't they ship it out to anyone? You know, they just add another packing line, I would think. Yeah,
it would be interesting. And they said there was free shipping over $100. So, I mean, that does, because that's what I hate about, like, anytime you go to look at online ammo and you see all these posts like, oh, it's this cheap or whatever, and you go there, then you go click all the way to checkout, and it's like $100 to ship it. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, It's ridiculous.
So things you overhear at the, farm store ammo counter, in the middle of, South Dakota.
I'll take old people sayings for 100, Alex.
So the old guy that works at the farm store, I overheard him talking to a customer that was looking for ammo, and he said that he had heard that, I don't know what ammo company it was, but they had actually shut down their 22 LR lines so that they could make other kinds of ammo instead of 22, because they figured everyone was so backstocked on 22 from last time that they didn't need it this time. So
I don't know. I mean,
I haven't heard anything like that, but I thought it was interesting that rumor got started somehow.
I wouldn't think it would be the same equipment, like, cause there is no priming and all that in the machinery, because it's, you know, it's not like a center fire item. So I don't know. That doesn't really hold a lot of water with me. But where's he getting this secret info? Like,
right.
Does he got like a bat phone on the desk where straight to the manufacturers?
It's a heartland. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I guess we'll talk a little bit about what I've been up to in guns. Did you want to go first?
Oh, we don't do this regularly enough that I kind of forget what I've done since last times.
Well, I was going to ask you, how'd the sale go on that night's armament? Did you find, was it, you know?
No, I shot it a couple times now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's great. I like it a lot.
It hasn't lost its luster. You're not looking at it a little sideways now.
Not yet, but I did go to take off the, cherry bomb. I wanted to do something with the PWS gun I have. Nothing bad, but, I needed to get the cherry bomb off for that. And I don't know if you remember my woes of like when I broke my vise and everything with the other cherry bomb trying to take it off.
Oh yeah.
So I did the smart thing and I sent a message over to, Q and I said, okay, how do I get this off? And they actually talked to the engineer person, actually gave me a thorough answer. But basically, he said, you got to use a lot of torque. And that was my problem because I was using, it's a thin wall socket you have to use to get on those cherry bombs because they have a lip on the outside diameter. And then the socket head is in the inside, and there's only a thin spot there. You can't use like a big impact socket to get in there. It's just too thick walls.
Oh, yeah.
So I have 1/4-inch drive sockets that are thin walled enough to fit on there. But then I was trying to use like a big breaker bar on it. So I was using like the 1/4 to 3/8 to 1/2-inch adapters, and the little nipple that those adapters are just twisted right off. Like there's nothing I could do there. So they recommended a specific 3/8 drive, thin walled socket. So I got those on order today. Literally just today I ordered them. Okay. They come from MSC, which is a supplier we buy some stuff from, and they're like $3 a piece. So it was like $7 or $6 in there, but it was like $12 to ship the dang things. So I got $20 into these sockets. Hopefully they work. I bought 2 because I figured I'm going to probably break one of them in this whole process. But my theory is to use an impact rated 1/2 to 3/8 adapter, go on the socket, and then use the electric impact gun that I have, like for lug nuts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it'll give you that shock value. That big hammering action.
Shock and awe. Yeah.
Yeah. Shock and awe. I'm going to pull a bush on it. And so we'll try that. But the guy said, he goes, you need to use a lot of torque to break it free. But he goes, once you break free, don't keep unscrewing it. He goes, as soon as you get it broken free to see a little bit of like where water can get down into the cracks of the threads, he goes, stop there and put it in an ultrasonic cleaner so the water can start breaking down. Cause that's the problem right now is that it makes such a good seal on the shouldered barrel that no water can penetrate the threads, which is what you need to break up the rock set. Is water.
So at what point are you like, well, this attachment system is so ingenious and like the engineering is so great, but damn, it's a big pain in the ass.
Well, it wouldn't be a pain in the ass if I wanted to remove it.
Well, the theory isn't that the point though, to be able to put it on and take it off and.
Well, no, I can take the suppressor off the cherry bomb, no problem. It's trying to get the cherry bomb off the rifle.
Well, but who permanently attaches? This is almost like pin and weld almost as bad as that. It sounds like.
I did it for a specific reason. I did it to, there's a slight flaw that the adapters are so sleek and sexy that they don't have any wrench flats in them. So if you don't torque the item to the gun properly and you thread on the suppressor and then you go to take the suppressor off and the adapter comes off first, which it can happen, there's no way to easily grab the adapter to get it out of the suppressor. So then you have the opposite problem. And there are people that I've heard that you can either send that to Q and they have tools to take it apart that way, but it's essentially you take a 5/8 24 or half a 28 depending on which, what it is, and then thread it into the adapter, then use a jam nut to lock it on the adapter, then unscrew it. So
what if you just lock all your adapters on your suppressors and then
I did do that too.
And then just screw them all on the rifle the backwards way.
Well, that's just too simple. But so I had, they are better than direct thread. I will give them that. And they QD on and QD off. I really like that. But just the rock set, I've never used rock set before. And I put a dab on, when you're looking at a threads and you put like a dab at 12 o'clock and you just assume the threads will, distribute it while you're tightening it down.
Yeah.
I did that and I had to take some of those off and they came off without a lot of pressure, and I was like, maybe I didn't use enough.
You're like, I'm not breaking anything. I obviously didn't use enough.
So then on the next go around, I did put too much on, what I thought was enough, and it's too much. So hopefully I'll get it off. But what he said was basically, you still might lose the barrel or the adapter, even if I break it free, get water in there. Jeez. Because he goes, that ceramic slurry is abrasive, so you can't get it too hot. Like you can't just reef on it with a impact gun because the heat and the abrasiveness will just eat up the material. Really? So he's like, you gotta be careful. So it'll be an adventure to get it off and I don't know, maybe it'll end up being a cut and rethread. I don't know. I hope not, but
sounds like you're going to end up with a shorter barrel maybe.
Maybe on the one barrel, I definitely have to because that one I've already ruined. So I got to cut that one off and rethread it. But it's a barrel that's extra right now, so I'm not even going to worry about it till I need to build something with it. But
so is it the heat or the friction that messes with it? Like, so the traditional heated up with a torch would be a bad idea on this? It sounds like.
No, it doesn't. You can't even. It's not heat reason. That's why you use Rockset versus like Loctite, like a red Loctite. Yeah. It still breaks down with heat. Rockset is a ceramic like slurry almost. It's like glue with ceramic in it, and that's what makes the bond. Huh. And supposedly the water takes away the adhesive, which just leaves you with this kind of the ceramic goo in there that you can just get out. But so you can't just heat it up with a torch to get it to break free. That doesn't do anything. Like it's like, oh yeah, hey, thanks. That's it. That's why it's so good as a adhesive on muzzle devices because they get so hot. So it's what makes you strong also makes you weak.
It sounds like they maybe need a training, like 2-day training course and licensing program to use Rockset, maybe.
I know, and they sell this stuff on Amazon. This is like ghost adhesive. You can just order it and have it right to your door. There's like loopholes and everything.
Probably got it at a gun show.
Yeah. So I will hopefully have those sockets by the next time we record 3 months from now, and I will be able to let you know if it worked or not. If it doesn't break free, I'm just leaving it on the gun because it works perfectly. But we'll see. I'll let you know next time. There's a reason, but nothing to go into right now. Tell me about what you did. Something you did then.
Let's change the subject.
End my misery.
Shall we? So, my misery actually ended finally with this 1022 build. As you might, remember my, saga of, jamming this, 1022, kid barrel, 6-inch kid barrel into the Enoch, what do they call this chassis? The Enoch, Odin chassis.
Or the Deep Six, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, this one's the Odin, the shorter of the two.
Yeah.
And so.
That is a fat barrel there.
Yeah. So flashback to, the first time I tried this, it was actually was it in this chassis? Yeah, it was in this, maybe not. I can't remember.
You had a big 10-inch barrel in there at one point.
Yeah. I mean, I've got so many 1022 parts now. It's not even funny. Won't even go into that. So, anyways, somehow the barrel got ruined where the ejection port is and the chamber, kind of interconnect or next to each other there.
The webbing for the extractor slot there
yeah. So that kind of got pushed into the chamber, some material there. So then it wouldn't eject and you couldn't chamber either. And it was just a cluster. And I, might have taken a Dremel to it to try to fix it.
Oh, but my Rockset is so terrible.
Which kind of worked for a little bit, but then I was like, is this safe? I don't know. I mean, it is just a 22 LR. Anyways, long story short, got another kid barrel here, and I was like, in the meanwhile, I had bought the 1022 Charger that has the brace adapter on the back and everything, and that's a great starter gun. If you're thinking about doing like a 1022 pistol like this with a brace, I would totally go the Charger route, and then you can always get the chassis later. So anyways, I took apart that Charger, and because I was like, I want to take all elements out of this equation that could have goofed that barrel up, because before I had really chaffered and sanded and maybe did some unholy things to that receiver to get the barrel in. And so I was like, wow, is it completely concentric in the receiver? Like, was it so far off? Like, was in there crooked somehow because I took off too much material on one side? I'm like, all these questions going through my head. And so I'm like, well, I'll just take all that out of the equation, use a different receiver out of this Charger. They're both pistols and everything. So that all works together. And so that's what I did. And, you had told me to put the barrel in the freezer, get that really cold, and then heat up the receiver where the barrel interfaces into the receiver. So I did that, but then, it was just like no go whatsoever, when I tried to put them together. And I'm like, not again. I'm like, not again. And so I threw the barrel back in the freezer. I'm like, let me look at this receiver some more. And for one, the paint on these are just wonderful.
Oh, it's garbage.
I mean, when I heated it up with the heat gun, some of the paint started to come off. So I
did the same thing with mine as well.
Yeah, that's rigger paint for you. But, I started looking at it, and there's like so much overspray of this paint or finish or whatever's on this inside this receiver. Like the factory barrel, it's got so much play in it that it's no problem. Like, there can be paint there can be whatever there. You can slide that factory barrel in and out, no problem. One thing that I was curious when I slid the factory barrel out was that there's just so much lube, like so much oil, like around that factory barrel where it interfaces with the receiver. It was really odd to me.
Like they were bedding it with lube.
Yeah, I was like super wet with lube when I pulled that out. I'm like, this is really weird. Cause I'd even shot it a little bit and stuff, and I don't know that I really put any lube on it. I don't think I lubed that when I got it. I think I just took it out and shot it. Anyways, that's a side tangent. So I carefully removed the paint on this one. I tried to scrape out as much as I could with just a standard cleaning, like a shotgun size cleaning brush, steel brush or brass brush that you clean a shotgun with and shotgun bore with. So I tried to get a lot of it out with that, but still it wasn't coming out. So I took a soft-sided shotgun and like, I don't know if any of this is right, so don't try this at home. So I took a soft shotgun, like bore cleaner, like I don't know, it's like
the mops. The mops, I think.
Is that what you call it? The mops? Yeah, I don't know any of this terminology.
You're just a professional podcaster.
I just play a gun guy on the internet. Anyway, so I wrapped a little like 220 grit sandpaper around that.
Oh God, here we go.
And carefully, I tried to like keep it all very evenly in my removal process of this paint. And
with your calibrated 12 gauge mop.
Yeah, very scientific. And so,
oh my God.
And so I got all the paint off and everything. I cleaned it up and everything, cleaned the receiver off, and then did the heat thing again, and then took the barrel out of the freezer and got it in. It went in, installed, super tight fit still, and everything.
Yeah, the kit barrels are tight, and that's a good thing if you don't plan on taking it on and off every day.
So anyways, yeah, then I proceeded to put it all back together, which is super fast. I mean, if you're thinking about building a gun or doing anything hands-on and you haven't done like an AR-15 build or you haven't done any kind of build, the 1022 is probably a pretty good place to start because it's so simple and easy, and there's a million how-to videos online. It's easier than an AR-15 even. So anyways, I slapped it all back together, put the SB Tactical Brace on it, put the Holosun red dot on it, and it's got the Magpul. Do you remember what Magpul grip this is?
MLEK, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it says right on it.
God, all three of those things are like gold right now. You can't get an SB Brace to save your life. The Holosuns, all the distributors have zero Holosun.
Really?
Any SKUs in stock, and even Magpul grips in stocks are like ghost towns.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad I got these when I did then. Wow. I'm surprised their Holosuns are like, those are like, I thought those were more plentiful than like the creatures on the earth. I mean, you look everywhere.
Yeah, I went just before we started recording. I went to go see if anybody had, the major distributors had the 508T, the new smaller, red dot one, and, no Holosuns at all were in stock. Not even like a magnifier, nothing.
Wow. That's crazy. That really does show how up the industry is. If the most plentiful optic or red dot on the planet is sold out. Anyways, I took it out with 15 round, Ruger mags and 25 round Ruger mags. And the first thing I ran through it was the CCI, poly-tipped, whatever they call those.
The clean ones, the poly clean.
Yeah, that's
clean
it.
22.
The clean 22 by CCI. Ran through 2 mags. I'm like, ooh, wow, yeah, this might be working. And I'm looking at the chamber Schaefer or extractor Schaefer area and everything, making sure it all looks good, and it looked good. So then, I just kept running mags through it one after another. And, I ran through several boxes of ammo, through it, probably 300 rounds or so. through it, and just awesome. Worked great. I couldn't believe it.
You couldn't believe it. Is it front heavy with that big fat bull barrel in a light chassis?
You know, now that you mention it, maybe, but like when I was shooting it, I mean, I didn't notice it at all.
Well, it's not nearly as bad as that 10.5-inch bull barrel you had, right?
No. I mean, it just feels right. It just feels like it goes together right and everything, and it feels balanced. With the brace on it. I mean, without the brace on it, it would be probably too front heavy at that point, but the brace balances it out and everything. So I'm super happy with it. I do need to do some accuracy testing on it, just to, I don't know. I mean, it's shot steel at 25 yards fine. I'm sure it's fine.
It's a red dot too. I mean, how much can you ask out of it?
Right.
But what, so that's all factory Ruger Charger parts in there? What happened to all your fancy Go Fast parts?
Yeah. So that's my next step. I need to put the Go Fast parts on it and everything. I just wanted to take everything out of the equation, made sure that like something else wasn't, you know, cursing this build. But yeah, it's good to go now. So yeah, I need to put a little more work into it and be a cool little, I was going to see if it fit in my glove box too. It's pretty small.
So this one this is the one you're going to keep all the fancy stuff on, and then you've got like 2 or 3 other guns, other 1022s, don't you now at this point? So what's your plan for the builds?
Well, I need to get another receiver, because I stole this out of the Charger. So I need to get another pistol receiver, and then I can build another 2. And I was going to build the other, Enoch Deep 6, so the longer, and then you're right, I've got that longer barrel. I was going to build that too, but I went to put it together, and I lost the screw that goes in the chassis, and the receiver. And so it's
a fairly standard screw. That's nice about it.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I had because the stock Ruger screw is like way too long and dumb.
Yeah, it's a little shorty. I could take a picture of mine if you need to.
So I emailed them. I just asked them. I said, "Hey, how can I order a couple screws?" And I just did that right tonight. So I don't.
Okay.
I haven't heard back yet. So yeah, I want to put that other one together. It's a longer chassis, the longer barrel. I'm hoping that balances out so those parts are actually viable for another build, and we'll see how that goes. I guess
that'd be a good one to put a scope on, like have a scoped one, and then you red dot one.
Yeah. So what do you think? What would be like the cheapest scope?
But just as good.
I mean, seriously, it's a 1022. Who cares? Like, what would be a cheap scope?
My 1022 has a $800 Athlon Midas tack on it, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Zach, pretend you're not Zach for a minute.
Probably like a loopholed rim American, or what is it called? The loopholed, it's their rimfire. God, what's the Freedom? Loopholed Freedom 3-9. I've got that on my Tika, and it's fine. But you're going to want a rimfire one, so it has the parallax set for something less than 100 yards. I think those are at 60.
Okay, let's bring it another step closer to the pores. But does Vortex make any rimfire optics, or a company like that?
They make it's the Crossfire. Let me see. Yeah, they do make one. I think the one that they mainly use is a 2-7 though.
Or what's that?
I'm not sure.
What's that other optic company like Vortex? I forget I should know this. I dealt with them a while back, but
Primary Arms?
No. You mentioned you had one.
Athlon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they do have a Crossfire 2 rimfire that would work, but it's a 2-7, which if you're not shooting groups with it, I guess that's fine. But that's pretty. It's be fine for how many animals you have to kill with your guns, so that wouldn't be too bad. But there's a bunch out there. It's really just getting that proportion right, because you can. Which receiver are you going to go put on the Brownells receiver?
The Deep 6, the longer build.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the Brownells
so that one,
receiver.
Does that have the integrated rail on it on the top?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're going to be kind of limited. You can't go too big of a scope because you can only go so far forward on that receiver with the rings and of the base, and then your your pistol brace is shorter than like a traditional long rifle stock.
Right.
So your length of pull is going to be a little bit shorter. So it means you're going to be choked up on the gun a little bit. So you can't put a big honking scope on it, or else you'll just never be able to like get the natural position feel right.
I need to calculate like the length of the scope and the eye relief needed.
Yeah, you just need a smaller scope. I mean, with any of the smaller stuff, you should be fine. Like my little 3-9, but you also don't want too big of a one. It's just going to look proportionally wrong on the gun. So, yeah, even like those fixed 4-powers would be nice.
No, I think I want more than 4-power. Well, so let me preface it with this: is that it's probably not going to stay in a 10-22. I'll probably put it on a long rifle, or actual rifle 22 at some point. But just to have something, since I'm in these chassis builds and stuff right now, I just, something I can use on these and maybe throw on a longer gun later.
Yeah, I think probably still the VX Freedom rimfire, I think, is probably your better bet. They have a 2-7 and a 3-9. I've got 2 of these 3-9s and they're not bad. I have one currently on my Tika, and that thing puts in tiny groups, so it's not like a limiter factor for a 50-yard group. It's got a heavier duplex to it, so it's not like you're going to have crazy tight, 2/10 group sizes with it.
No.
But that's not the point. That's why I like that. Like the Athlon has a floating dot, so your crosshairs come in, it goes empty, and then there's a small dot.
I mean, I just need something I can see the hashes on the paper at 50 yards.
Yeah, I think the 3-9 Leupold is probably pretty good. I put a link in the show notes for anybody who wants to see. I think it's inexpensive enough. It's it's not nothing, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. So what's let's go to the Zach side of things.
Oh man, what other problems can I talk about? It's always problems. Well, I did actually tune some gas blocks. I bought some adjustable gas blocks.
Is that like tuning guitars? How do you tune a gas block?
Well, tediously for one. I mean, I built that 18-inch 17.7-inch ballistic advantage barrel that I put this gun together, and I thought I wanted a longer range AR-15 that was just a nice gun. I had this arrow lower that was sitting around, and I put a TriggerTech diamond trigger in it. It's a crazy AR trigger. It's one of those ones that drops in as a unit, and then you tension it, into in the receiver, and it has that click adjustable adjustment, just like the Remington 700 triggers that I have from TriggerTech. It goes down to like a pound, and a pound on an AR is crazy. Like it's weird. It just doesn't feel right. Like it goes right to a wall. There's like nothing, a wall, and then just boop, it just breaks over. It's the weirdest feeling, but I figured, okay, that'd be cool. So I got that in there, and I put, Bootleg Industries makes the same upper that's on my PWS rifle, just that cool, like machined, upper receiver. They sell a stripped version of it. So I bought that, and then I put a regular bolt carrier in it. I put this barrel on it, and all this build started because I had a 15-inch, Midwest Industries rail that I liked a lot, that I just didn't have anything to put it on. So I didn't want to get rid of that rail because it was a pretty expensive rail at the time. And so I built a rifle basically around it. But of course, the adjustable gas block, the adjustment screws were not visible or accessible with the rail on. So I had to go test it with the rail off and then, get the adjustable gas block tuned so it would work. And essentially, I'm not saying I did it right, but basically what you do is you just put one round in the gun at a time, and then you shoot it until it no longer locks back on the empty mag. So then you keep closing the gas, so it just gets less because you're basically making it run on the just the amount of gas it needs to fully move the belt all the way back to hit the bolt stop right and lock all up and everything. And then you typically get to that point and you open it up just a little bit more for safety. I tried it with like 3 different ammos just to make sure it wasn't like a variance of pressures, and so I wanted to make it, because once the rail's on, it's, I don't want to have to pull the rail off if I find where it didn't work,
Yeah.
So I did that, and it's nice. I don't know if I really needed a long range AR. But I don't also think I need to sell it either. But it's another one of these things. So the Midwest Industries rail has like a little pinch bolt on there, where it goes over the barrel nut, and then it has like 2 bolts that on the 6 o'clock position pinch together, and it squeezes on the barrel nut. That's how it affixes. But it has this little like T tabbed bracket that slips in between there, and then it straddles both sides of your lower receiver or your upper receiver, so it can't rotate. That way the rail stays perpendicular and everything. Well, it worked fine on my test upper that I had, but then when that bootleg upper came in, went to go put it all back together, and of course that receiver is wider for whatever reason where that thing has to, the anti-rotation tab is. So I brought it to work and I just threw it on the manual mill and was going to have the guys open it up a little bit for me to slip over the receiver properly. It's like a spring steel thing. So it looks like a Y. So it's got like the main thing and then it Y's off. So there's no real support there when they're milling it. And of course they got one side all the way through. The other side, it just like caught the bit wrong and just went boing and broke. And so I had to order a whole new anti-rotation tab, and I brought it over to my buddy Dan's house, and we did it just slower. We took off a lot less material on every swipe and crossed our fingers, and we got it cut without breaking. So we had it all back together, and it's just this whole thing, it's just like everything's something. So I got that gun working good, but now that loaner scope that I had on it, which is a PST Gen 2, I have to send that scope back real soon. So now it's like I'm going to have a nice rifle with no scope, and I haven't saved up for another scope for it yet. So that one might just sit in the safe. And really, you can't even get ammo realistically for it right now anyways. So it might just go in there, but just sit in the safe until ammo's available again. Or it might become sale fodder.
Or you could start reloading again.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the patience for it anymore. But that was one gas block I had. I bought Seekins precision adjustable gas blocks, and they're fine. People complain about gas blocks because on an adjustable gas block out the front, you basically have a little jam set screw, and then coming in from the side, there's basically like a valve screw that you just turn the set screw in to close the gas off, pull it back, and then you lock it in with that set screw from the front. Well, people say that after so much shooting, they lock up and you can't adjust them anymore. And I'm like, I'm not making it where I'm adjusting it for every ammo that I switch in the day. I'm just kind of setting it and forgetting it kind of thing. And so it should be fine. And they're cheap enough that I can throw it away if I need to. If it really locks up and you just know more adjustment, I'll just pull it off and swap another one on. But I really wanted one for my M16 because that thing was gassy. I put that suppressor on that and that 10.5 inch barrel. It was like a cloud. And so I adjusted it, and that one, I adjusted the set screw all the way in. Like it couldn't close the gas off anymore, and it still runs.
Wow.
So, and it's still a little bit gassy. So I have one of those bootleg adjustable carriers on order for it so I can vent even more gas out the carrier. But I got it a lot closer. It's not nearly as gassy as it was, but I couldn't believe, I was like, I thought it was something was bound up. So I took the set screw all the way out, pulled that one all the way out and pushed it back in, and then put the set screw back in, and no, it was right. I just had it closed off, but apparently a 10.5 inch barrel doesn't need a lot of gas when you have a suppressor on it.
Well, you just described doing more in 2 weeks than I did the last 5 years. So there's that.
Yeah, but it's becoming hot now. So I don't do a lot. I was putting on, some stuff on the guns and I'm just like, man, it's hot in this garage. And I had a fan on me, but I was just like, still too hot. So I'll go back in the AC for a little bit.
You could just air condition your garage.
I had thought about it. I thought about putting a mini split out there and just running out there, but I don't need to be out there that much. So it's, I think it was only a couple grand to get the AC system put in there, but, I just don't know if I really need it at this point. If I really worked out of there, I guess I would, but, I'm not there yet. So,
just cut a hole in the wall and do a $200 window unit through the wall.
Well, I have a window that it could sit in, but I don't want anybody to knock it out and then break into my garage and steal all my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you mount it in the wall. You get one small enough so only a midget could fit through it. And hope that the midget gang doesn't.
I say, what about the roving midget gang, the gang that breaks into stuff?
All right. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to get one of those scopes for next time and or for another time and do some accuracy testing, hopefully get that screw and everything. So I did a little cleaning out or organizing the cabinets behind me. I finally put the shelves in the 2 new ones I got, and then I started the middle one, which is a low one, the half height one that kind of acts as a counter. I threw like all my pistol calibers, 20, including 22 in that. And I kind of got rid of a lot of the ammo cans because with those move and everything and like having everything not in the same spot, I don't really know what I have. And like ammo cans, I kind of hate them now because even though I have most of them labeled, you really don't know what's in them. Like what kind of 9mm is in that? What kind of 223 is in that? Or, you know, how much is in this one? And you just have no idea, and you got to crack them all open. They're heavy and they're just kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm glad I got this cabinet where I kind of have it laid out like a Walmart shelf or, you know, gun store shelf where you have the different types of ammo in order and the different brands all together. And that's really nice. I've never really had the space to do that. And so now when I go shoot, I can be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get this, you know, caliber, get this bullet weight and have it, I don't know, just make a lot more sense and not have to scrounge around and be like, oh, thank God I found the 9mm. So
do you have all of your ammo in there now, or are you still have MIA ammo somewhere floating around?
Oh, I could have some missing in action still. I found more than I thought I owned though, so that was cool. So don't tell the wife that, but but yeah, I found a lot more 223 than I thought I had, and I'm pretty good on 22 and pretty good on 9. I hardly have any 45, which I thought I had more. But that could be one thing where I find another ammo can somewhere. And cause like some of them were just randomly around the shop because they weren't all moved together. So they were unloaded separate and it was just a cluster.
Yeah, but with the 45, you don't need that much, right? Because you just need to do one shot stops. So
yeah, 2 World Wars.
You just need to practice one shot per session, right?
Oh, speaking of the 45, so I still carry the Springfield, whatever I carry.
The traders?
Yeah. I bought it before they were traders. But I was like, you know, I should really kind of switch out the self-defense ammo in here but I'm like, I can't even buy it now. Everyone's out of like all ammo. But when I did this ammo organization, I found 4 boxes of self-defense 45. So I was like, cool, I'll switch this out because I'm a little embarrassed to admit, but my backup magazine, I had, steel cased, just a round nose steel case in that because I had shot my other, self-defense backup ammo at some point. And so yeah. So I found
use that as your warning shots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good enough for Russia, good enough for me, right? So yeah, I have all brand new. I got all the lint out of my mags. I got all brand new self-defense ammo. So I'm feeling pretty good. Ooh. I mean, the last of us probably only had there 5 years. So.
Wow.
So there's that.
Did you get more capacity out of the mags after you got all the lint out of them?
Yeah.
It's like adding a +1.
Yeah. +1, take the lint out. Yes. So.
I share your hate for ammo cans too. I started putting a lot into my drawers in my cabinets in the garage. So like, you know, they just pull the drawer out and there's all my 9mm and all that. But like when you start getting into bulk stuff, it's a little bit harder. So I did put stuff into the ammo cans and I blue tape it and I just write exactly what's in there. As close as I can get right now.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad deal because I've got a lot of 223 or 5.56 that some of it actually came in ammo cans and stuff. So it's still brand new in the ammo can. And a lot of that is actually individually packed, like, boxes of, I don't know, 100 or 250 within the ammo cans. Which that's not really a big deal, but I just had so many random, you know, just like my 22 cans are just like random beyond belief of what was in those, you know, 50 packs, 100 packs, 550 packs, 315 packs, and like all these partials and everything because I was always pulling different stuff and like I didn't know I had a partial already going. So like now I can start working through some of the partials and stuff and where it's going to make a lot more sense, my storage area.
I had to do that with my 5.56 as well because I noticed like anything that was like box is actually from my Illinois days, really. That's how old it was. It's like when you had like 3 boxes of an ammo that is maybe a different grain weight or something. It's like, well, I don't want to resight in my gun and shoot, you know, 60 rounds and then be off or be off. So I took all my oddball ammo and moved it into M16. So I was like, that's a bullet hose anyways. And so that gets that. And all the guns that I have actually sighted in properly are just all the green tip, where you could argue the green tips, the 62 grain 5.56 is not the most accurate. It's not the best ammo, but I have the most of it. So I feel reasonably confident that at least if I know my point of aim and point of impact is right on all my optics and irons for that ammo. And then if it's anything else, it's luck of the draw kind of thing. I sure would love to get some 77 grain, Black Hills ammo. I just can't afford it. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
They say it's like really good ammo, but it's so expensive.
I know. I was looking at the boutique, 5.56 and 223 a while back. I'm like, I can't pull the trigger on any of this. Nope. No.
Yeah. If I was like, hunting people kind of thing and I needed it really if I was a police officer or military or something, yeah, it makes total sense. But man, I'm just blowing holes in targets. So for me, it is what it is. Speaking of sighting in stuff, I did actually sight in. I think we talked about last time I got the Knight's Armament gun and I had to order the offset irons for it because I had the ACOG on it and all that. Yeah. And I tried to mount I had the ACOG. And then it's got those bosses on the side to mount a little red dot on top of it. I did put a holosun on there and it was too high. It was just, it looked goofy on it. So I took it off right away. So I have an extra mount, but I did put the angled irons on there and they are really nice. And here's a little trick. I saw it on Sage Dynamics video, but to sight those in easy, since the rail has an offset M-lock on it, I took my M-lock bipod and mounted it on the 45 opposite of the sights. So I put it on a bipod on an angle and suddenly those sights are in perfect plane there. Cause that way, your left to right adjustments and your up and down adjustments are nice and square to the bore. It worked like a charm. I realized that I'm not as good of an iron sight shooter that I should be because my buddy Dan was spotting for me and I'm shooting the target and, it's the 62 grain green tip ammo, so it's not great ammo to begin with. And he's like, well, your target, your spread is, a few inches here. So I was like, I looked at the scope. That's good enough. But I was like, okay, you shoot it now. And he's stacking them on top of each other. And I was like, oh shit, it's not the gun. So, I'm not quite an iron sight shooter at all, but I do like the sights a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, So did you leave the bipod on that way just in case?
No, I should though. That was the Magpul M-lock bipod, and I tried it on another gun. I left it on the gun. I don't think I like that bipod very much. It's got so much wiggle in it. Everything's like
really.
It's just it's just kind of wonky. I don't love it. Once you get used to the Atlas bipod, it's such a good bipod. And even my Harris, I like my Harris a lot too. But the Magpul, it's cheaper. I'll give it that. So it's got price on its side, but I don't love it. I think I'm just going to keep it in my drawer for spare guns that don't have to be anything critical.
Yeah.
Well, I did one more thing with guns. I did speaking of iron sights, I ordered those Scholar Works irons that we talked about at one point. They came in. They're a fixed iron sight. And they're really nice. I put them on the M16.
Oh, you got these? These are like oh wow.
They're like the Maserati of iron sights, but they're so nice. I put them on the M16 that had a hollow sun dot on it. I didn't put the dot back on. They're that nice. I just run iron sights on it. They're really, really nice. So they are expensive. They're like $240 for a set. So, but that's about, the Knight's Armament sights were a little more expensive than that, but but they're really nice. They adjust toolless, which is really nice. So the elevation is the thumb wheel and the windage was just like a indented thumb wheel. They're nice and crisp. The aperture sizes are nice. The front sight was nice and crisp and clean. The mounting system's really nice on them. I really can't complain.
They are really slick, and really the toolless really does add a lot of value. I got to say that.
Yeah, they're a really nice set of irons. So yes, they're expensive. There is no doubt about that, but I do like them quite a bit.
Really, so. I don't know how many toolless irons are out there, but that's really something that would be a good idea for a crap hits a fan build. Because who's going to have a tool on them? Right?
Yeah, that's the Knights Armament ones are as well as toolless in a similar fashion in that thumb wheel in the front. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 2 expensive irons, but they you can see where the money goes.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I do like the look of them. Cool. Link for those in the show notes too. Oh yeah, I bought a Gambler.
Oh, so you have no time for guns, but you'll buy crappy cars.
Oh, I can't stop looking at them, Zach. It's terrible. It's like
That sounds like me with guns.
I know. It's like it's my escape from. I'm so kind of burned out on the whole gun world still after doing so much podcasting for so many years, and like cars, like crappy rust bucket of cars is somehow my escape, and so I just can't stop looking at them on Facebook Marketplace. Just can't.
See, I do too, but I just watch Roadkill on Motor Trend. That gets enough for me. Like every time they do a road trip and they break down 10 times in their way, I'm like, yeah, see, that's why I don't do that. My car starts every single time, like that's why I like my car, like.
Oh, I love Roadkill. I mean, that is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And I get the exact opposite feeling. I'm like, hey, all this crap happens to these guys too. I'm not the only one.
Yeah. How can I monetize this like they did?
Oh man.
I just, man, like when they're doing those road trips and they have to put earmuffs and plugs in and they're just like, they're just like nodding at each other. Like, I'm like, is there no radio? There's no podcast. Like, what are they doing for all these cross country trips?
All these builds they get and they take off and they're like, oh, rat turds flying in my face.
Yeah, I watch all those shows, even like Hot Rod Garage where they buy, build crappy cars. All of the I'm a Motor Trend subscriber, so it's really great. I had free and everything.
Yeah, I am too.
It's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, Dirt Every Day is my second favorite on there. And then Junkyard Gold, I like that one a lot too, where he explores junkyards.
Was that Steve Magnagnata?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one too much, but yeah, there's a lot of good shows there. So did you buy a Gambler?
So I bought a Gambler finally again. I've been without a Gambler for like multiple years now. It's kind of...
Isn't it like gambling every time you go to get it in your current cars?
Well,
like what's going to be broken?
I mean, it depends on which one I get in. So yeah, I mean, I just realized that I've been like driving various vehicles, mostly Suburbans or Yukons.
They're called crap boxes.
Same thing. I've been driving one with a broken windshield for about 10 years now. Like I got one with one and then that one, ended up switching out, or I made that one into a Gambler. That's right. And then I got
the one you made a convertible or something.
Yeah, I made a Suburban into a Avalanche. Cut off the back roof. Yeah, that was the best Gambler I did by far.
It couldn't be as ugly as a regular Avalanche.
Well, I painted it bright orange. It was great, racing stripes and everything. Yeah, it was fantastic. Did the Gambler 500 out in Iowa. That's when I still lived in Illinois, so drove way out past the middle part of Iowa. Did the Gambler 500 out there, and then I ran the first Illinois Gambler 500. Actually, I did a lot of the planning with that and stuff, vehicle, and then actually ran it with my replacement Suburban for that, which also had a busted windshield that I just, whatever, just drive it. If it doesn't obstruct your vision, whatever. And then that one died before we moved here, and so I got a replacement Yukon for that, and that happened to have a broken windshield. Except that one, like, obstructed the whole passenger side, so...
I'll screw them there, passengers.
Yeah. So I replaced that right before a trip. We took a trip out to the Black Hills here. So I actually replaced that so it would be, nice, good, everything for the trip. And then I bought a Gambler that has a completely busted up windshield. So that's kind of funny.
Have you considered getting no deductible glass coverage on your insurance? Probably cheaper.
Yeah, but I never replace them. I just drive them. But
well, you would if it was no deductible. They come to your house and switch it in your Safe Light. They come to your house.
They don't. I checked. They don't come to my area. I got to drive to Sioux Falls. So I actually looked out the local body shop here in the town that's like 5 minutes away. A little tiny town, 800 people, but has a body shop. He did it cheaper than Safe Life. Even with the Safe Light coupon code that I could do, it was still cheaper. So that worked out.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, I got a 2000 Honda CR-V all-wheel drive. 5-speed stick though, so it's a lot of fun to drive.
Wait, is it this the CR-V? Okay, I was thinking the Civic. Okay, yeah, so a 2000 CR-V.
Yeah, so
with a stick shift.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's the kind of roundy-ish body style, right? But older. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Me and my brother bought one that had a bad transmission and we put a new tranny in it. It was a 5-speed as well, and then sold it. We flipped it when I still lived in Illinois, and the thing was not bad.
Yeah. No, they're not. I mean, runs and drives like a Honda. I mean, the 5-speed makes all the difference. I've been looking at so many things. I'm like, oh, it's an auto. It's an auto. You know, all these Jeeps out there, they're auto. It's just amazing to me that they're pretty much every Jeep you see now is an automatic. Even the older ones, you know, I'm looking at. I'm like,
Yes, because most sorority girls drive those things.
Right. Right. Daddy has to buy an auto for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually almost too nice. You know, it's kind of the roadkill thing. It's almost too nice because the AC works, everything works in it. It's pretty amazing. But
so this was a $500 purchase? Is that the rule for a gambler?
Well, or
are you cheating?
I'm cheating. It was $800. But like these still blue book, like private party blue book for like $1,800 or so. So I got a pretty good deal on it. And it's really hard to find a $500 run-in driving vehicle. Like,
yeah,
like
there's a reason. like
I think back to like when, like in high school and just getting out of high school, I had so many Ford Rangers and Bronco 2s.
Yes, you did.
They were a dime a dozen. You could buy a Ford Ranger and Bronco 2 for $500, $800, you know, all day long. You get a really nice one for like $1,500. But like now you look at Rangers and stuff, like they quit making them how many years ago? I'm not talking about the new ones they got, but the classic Ford Ranger, like they made that body style from like 98 to like 2015, 2016 or something. Crazy long line, but like one that's like just a few years old or like one that is like 2002, like they want just crazy money for them. It's insanity. Like $5,000 for this 20-year-old Ranger. I'm like,
I don't get it. They're not that nice.
It's just crazy. It's so crazy to me because we were in high school in the late 90s, you know, 1997 or let's say 1990.
We graduated in 01. So,
yeah, 01. Yeah. So probably 99. So in like 99, 2000, I was buying Rangers that were just barely over 10 years old, like 12, 13 years old for nothing. Like try buying a truck now, a truck SUV that runs and drives, you know, 13 years old. It's like just crazy to me how much more expensive things are.
I was that way with square body Chevys. I mean, the Chevy trucks from 78 to 87, those body styles. I had quite a few of those, and I don't think I ever paid more than $500 for any one of them.
Yeah.
But out here, I don't know where it's at, where you're at, but like things don't rust out here in Washington and Idaho. So those trucks are going for like $10,000 for like a decent one.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I'm like, those things are like driving around in tin cans. Like, why do you want one now? Like,
they're awful. Yeah, you're right. They're super expensive everywhere. It seems like, I saw one so rusted out. It was too far away. I would have bought it. But the bed on this thing had so many like rust holes and pinholes that it looked like somebody like shot it up with a machine gun, like the whole back end of it. But it was beautiful, like because the top had that patina and then it had all these like pinholes all the way through the rest of it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I would drive that.
Okay, now, so I don't normally get jealous of your crap boxes that you buy, but there was one that I was jealous of that the owner of Victos, the tactical clothing company guy, he's in Wisconsin, and he bought just recently an old ATM van. So this was a Ford Econoline van that had the up armored. It had like a command center in the back. When you opened the thing, it had like a desk with two like ported windows.
I think I saw that on eBay. Did you get it? Yeah.
He bought it for $2,000.
Wow.
I'm like, that would have been awesome. You could put like a turret on the top, or you could do something really cool with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the hell I would do with it, but somebody would do something cool.
Gamble it.
I think I think that's what he said he was going to do with it.
Yeah.
And make it for like video shoots and photo shoots with the company. So they're probably going to spray paint their logo all over it or something, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there's some really neat stuff that comes up sometimes. Usually it's way too far away.
All you need is a tow truck and a trailer.
I know. I see all these like haulers and stuff for sale, and I'm like so many of the haulers for sale. I'm like, man, you'd be breaking down just in the hauler.
Well, that's what Finnegan did when they had that ramp truck. Those ramp trucks that they had,
Right?
They broke down.
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, the Gambler. I'm gonna get the Sawzall out. I'm ordering some 31-inch tires for it. Putting a lift on it. Old Man Emu makes like some springs and whatever shock absorber things for it, so it's like an actual lift. It's not like a hillbilly thing that's going to drive really bad. So,
I'm sure it'll still drive bad, but
yeah,
that's just because it's a 25-year-old car.
I'm pretty sure it might drive bad because it's going from a 26-inch tire to a 31-inch tire. So
it might just be slow as molasses trying to get up to speed.
It will be. It'll be so slow. But
are you going to make it like a UFO with like LED light bars, just a wall of light, like in Close Encounters of a Third Kind kind of thing?
I haven't really decided. Beyond that, I don't know. I just want something I'm going to few of the kids hop in and us go wheeling on dirt roads and stuff. And that's something I miss doing. Like in Illinois, like they paved over or gravel over, all the dirt roads I played on as a kid. And they were just gone. And that was something that coming out here was really cool. You got all these dirt roads again. So yeah, it should be
most people would see that as a con. You're seeing that as a positive. Yeah, that's because the wagon train just came through and they still want the dirt road.
I am contemplating chopping the roof on this though, or doing something, because I kind of want to be able to bring the mini bike with me. So when I do get stuck, the mini bike is like my escape, mobile. So I can drive back and get the truck and trailer with the mini bike. You
just get one of those, like those little receiver hitch, like trough trays, like when you put, like people put their rascals on them and stuff. Just get like that for a mini bike.
It'd be so.
Because if you cut it, do you have an indoor parking spot for it?
No, I don't have indoor anything.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, you don't want to cut the roof on it then, because then it's going to be it'll ruin the interior.
Well, I thought about, I know it's too nice. I'm like this Gambler, like I had in my head this next Gambler I got was going to be something I'd rip all the carpet out, rip all the interior out so that it could get wet and dirty and you could just hose it out. But like, this is so nice. Like the kid before me had like these stupid ass seat covers on it and stuff. And I'm like, I took those off and the seats were perfect. And like, he had like the stupid steering wheel cover on it. I took it off and it was perfect.
I hate those things.
I'm like, man, this thing is so nice. And look, it like runs the coldest AC out of any of my vehicles. So I'm like, dang it. I'm like, I get something that I want to just butcher and then it's like too nice to, one side note, one really funny thing about these CRVs. So it's a first gen CRV and the back where, it's got the spare tire on the back end, but it's also got this like spare tire area under the back floorboard area. Well, anyways, you pull that cover off out from under the carpet.
Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
And
keep going.
And it's a folding table. It's like a camping table.
It's a camp table. Yeah. That's what, I had the same one in that car we flipped. Yeah. That's what I took for the pictures. I pulled it out and I set it all up and I took the pictures for when I sold it.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. I'm like, man, why don't car companies do stuff like this anymore? Maybe they do. I don't know.
Cool. Well, you're the next David Freiberger. There you go.
No thanks. Yeah, if I can, you're right. If I could figure out how to make money on it like he did, but that didn't work out so hot with the gun podcast. So there's that.
Yeah.
So Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible.
Speaking of monetizing hobbies.
So yeah, so we got the August patch of the month shipping tomorrow. It's, my rifle identifies as a fishing rod. Pretty cool patch. So bunch of new designs in stock at patriotpatch.co, not just the patch of the month, but you can order anything. Quick shipping. Everything usually ships same day, next day out the door. So yeah, check it out, patriotpatch.co. Just got patch panels in stock, back in stock. So if you want a extra big patch panel for your wall, those are in stock. So check it out, patriotpatch.co. Hunter of Design also sponsors this episode. If you want awesome graphic design, check out Ryan Cross's company, Hunter of design. He does all the great patch design at Patriot Patch Co. and can hook you up with new designs for your website, for your logo, whatever you need. HunterDesign.com. And Zach, where can people connect with you online?
Oh, take a look at Zack Carlson Writer on YouTube. That's where most of my stuff's going these days because I'm too lazy to write anything.
Wrapping up this episode, you can shoot an email to gunguyradio@gmail.com. You gave away the last of the loader.
I did, yes. Yeah. Yes. So everybody that got a loader, hopefully they'll be good. And actually, I was talking with Galloway Precision. They make some +2s, +3s, mag extensions for a Taurus TX22. That's my other little 16+1 22 pistol that I've got. Okay. And he asked if I wanted to send some of those to listeners as a giveaway type deal. So if you have a TX22, email me and I'll tell them that, yes, we do actually have listeners that own a TX22. Cool. Or else I'll just take them all for myself.
Yeah, either way. You think I care? Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. Well, thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.